All right, well, let's take it live. Off we go. We got 3 pretend viewers out there waiting for us. It's live.
Oh,
it's
excellent.
Live. People are here waiting for our lovely voices. A voice in the dark to save you from the insanity of the world as it is today.
Did you hear the last 10, 15 minutes of the No Agenda show?
Oh, yeah. That was quite insane. Then, of course, he had some ground loop problems and lost.
I feel kind of bad for him. He's going nuts trying to figure out where the buzz is coming from. And
oh, yeah. I know the feeling. I know the feeling massively when that happens. Yeah, it was quite insane. And I had to put, Windows is such a pain in the freaking ass. It wants to update me again. It's like, it'd be like the 4th time in the last week. It wants to update and says, screw you, everything's working perfectly now. Go away for as long as it can be. I think I was able to extend it out a month and a half. So from next month and a half, everything's going to work perfect. Well, not everything's working perfectly. For some reason, now my printer driver doesn't always work well. Just random. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you, you freaking computer?
I need you to share your screen with me again. I accidentally closed it.
Oh, well, okay. We'll do that.
It was the wrong X, man. Wrong X.
All right. Let's try that again. Share. There you go.
Thank you.
Too many X's. Ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. People popping in and out. Getting everything working. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, that's all working. Hey, it looks like the dials and pegs are nice and stiff today, so they're working well. Alrighty. We will have a show. Another show, episode 507. Wow. You know what I checked in today? You're almost at 50 episodes on this show.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
Like 9 to go. 9 more to go, and you'll be at 50 episodes. So we're going to have some sort of special event for your 50th episode.
I'm getting old. Guess that means I'm getting boring.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're not as fresh as you used to be.
Oh,
yeah. You're irreplaceable, though. We can find someone to replace you. We're all replaceable. As was educated to me once upon a time. You want to know how much you worry, how much a concern you are in the world? Take your finger, stick it in a bucket of water, pull your finger out, and how fast that hole lasts is how much you'll be missed in the world. It doesn't matter who you are.
That's a good explanation.
It doesn't matter who you are. Whether you're a pauper or a king or a queen's husband or whatever, once you're gone, you're gone. Shortly after you're gone, nobody misses you.
Funny how that works, eh?
Yeah, well, it's funny how that works. Now, you might leave an impression in the world behind, but still, you might leave some ripples because, you pull your finger out, you'll leave some ripples in the water. So ripples might exist, but length of that hole is how long you missed. Yeah, that was something I learned many, many moons ago, back when I used to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners. If you want a job in the world,
where did you learn that? Did someone teach you, or?
Yeah, it was part of salesman training. It was part of sales training to get you used to the idea of being rejected, because to be a salesman you have to come to terms with the word no and rejection. You have to understand what rejection is. And that's what sales training was. When I became a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman, we used to go to sales training once a week, and it's some of the best sales training in the world. And only the intelligent survive past the first month, and only the super strong survive after the 3rd or 4th month. I think I was there for 2 years before I decided, yeah, I've done enough sales. I think I want to go back to being a mechanic. But it was an interesting time.
Sorry.
You really what?
I really didn't like doing sales. I'm really good at it, but I really don't like it.
Yeah, no, sales is never a lot of fun. Never much fun. But it's an essential part of every business out there. Without sales, nothing happens. Sales and marketing, every business requires it. And if you can't do it yourself, you got to hire somebody to do it for you. Because if you don't have sales and marketing, you won't have customers. You'll get your few customers, but after you've been around long enough, you don't have to do much sales and marketing, but you still have to do it. Even when people are saying, hey, I was referred to you. Well, you still got to sell them on why they should choose you, even though they've been referred to you by a friend of theirs.
Yeah.
You still got to convince them. So you still got to do sales and marketing. It's not the same. It's not as hard to sell somebody who's already coming to you with a positive outlook as it is to convince somebody who has a neutral outlook or someone who has a negative outlook. If they have a negative outlook on you, man, it's real hard to overcome that. It can be done.
Yes, it is.
I've done it. I've overcome when there's a negative outlook on me. I've done that. But the neutral one's pretty hard too. But yeah, it's all about the sales and marketing. So let's see what else.
Sales and marketing isn't so bad when you're actually doing something that you enjoy, though. When you're doing something you enjoy, it's so much easier.
Oh yeah, it's way easier because you got to believe in your product. That's the big thing that a lot of people don't understand. You must absolutely believe in your product. If you don't believe in your product, you have a harder time selling. You can always tell when a salesman doesn't believe in their product too. When they're giving you a pitch, it's like their pitch, while it might sound enthusiastic, you'll catch just something in their demeanor, their voice, or the way they act. They don't have full belief in their product.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to believe in their product. If they don't believe in it, well, they're never going to happen. But that was why I was able to sell Kirby vacuums. I still believe in their product. It's a fantastic product. I just believe in Dysons more than I do Kirby's now because, they're cheaper significantly. And they do just as good a job as Kirby. Somebody finally invented something that cleans as good as the Kirby does. And it was cheaper. Not by much, mind you, but still cheaper. I think when I was selling Kirby vacuums, this was in the mid 1990s, and they were $1,400 a piece. So they're probably like $3,000 now.
Bloody hell.
So... yeah, as I said, the life of a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman is you're selling something to someone, something that they don't want, don't need, and can't afford. Because nobody wants a new vacuum. Everyone's convinced they don't need a new vacuum because they have a vacuum, and many of the people who buy them truly can't afford them.
Mm-hmm.
Like many people who buy most things in the world, they truly can't afford them. But we used to have easy payment plans. Hard part was actually when we had a payment plan, I had to go repossess the vacuum from them.
Oh no, that sucked.
That was always a hard one when I had to go back and repossess the vacuum because they hadn't been making their payments.
Oh jeez.
That was always kind of a shit.
Repossession, that makes me think of the genetic opera, Repo Man.
Yeah, well, I don't know what Repo Man is.
Repo Man, the genetic opera. I think you would like it. I like musicals and I like operas, but I only like the good ones. There are lots that really suck, like Cats. Cat sucks. Same with Les Miserables. That one sucks in my opinion too. Oh, well. But something like the genetic opera, Repo Man, the genetic opera, beautifully twisted, wonderfully done. I highly recommend that everyone go check it out.
On that tune, on that time, let's move on to some music and head into show.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage. Like kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49.
Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer. We'll move it right along. When missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is it yours or is it mine? Most definitely mine. Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time. Alrighty then, it is time for us to get on to a show. So let's not waste too much time here and dive right into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
Into the Expanse. It's episode 507, and we have plugins for stats, links, photos, privacy, chat, plugin notes, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber Overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today. Of course, a couple of quick things. Make sure you have a look at the new system for submitting artwork for this show over at wppluginsa2z.com/artwork. It's really kind of cool. Helps show off all the art that's been submitted by our various artists. And this is a tip to you artists. We need more art. We're running out quick. Get on it, folks. Please, get on it. We are also now 56 weeks of the Rona lockdowns, and yet the world still has not found its collective brain, and insanity still abounds. There are small signs of hope here and there, though, so let's keep spreading the word, and hopefully people will get back to the light. By the way, happy Give All Your Money to the Government Day. For those of you down in the States, it is officially tax day, April 15th. For those in the States, here in Canada, we got another 15 days before we have to give all our money to the government. All right. This show also is a value for value model, and we like to give out a shout out to the No Agenda Show and appreciation for all their inspiration of ideas and their stolen sound clips.
Squirrel!
Also, don't forget to hang around to the end of the show for the Q&A segment with Amber. You know, there's a lot that goes on there. She brings some really interesting questions to the show every week, and we do split them up a little bit between what goes here on the podcast and what stays only on the YouTube version. So pop in there and check those out, folks, and stay tuned. And with all of that...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a bit of a cold.
Oh no, it's the Rona. Quick, run and hide. Run. Oh.
Yeah, all right.
Typhoid Mary here.
What?
I said Typhoid Mary. Sorry.
This is number 15 of 52 episodes for 2021. It is episode 507. And the song Another One Bites the Dust is kind of running through my head these days. What with the shutting down of Grace Life Church and other places of the same ilk. Lots of shutdowns.
Oh, yeah.
Almost the entirety of our downtown area is full of empty windows or closing out sales right now. It's sad.
Because every time they shut down, more businesses die.
Yep. So, another one bites the dust. And if things are seeming a wee bit dire at the moment with all these brand new lockdowns that we now have to deal with, just remember there's always a silver lining somewhere. In this case, you do get to spend more time with your family, and you do have more of an opportunity to take care of your own mental health and, you know, do things that you didn't have time to do before because you don't have to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Best thing you can do for yourself every day is retreat from the world to under a blanket, curl up on the couch, listen to some music with no news hour or to an audiobook. Grab yourself a drink and tell your kids to bugger off for an hour. Never be afraid to tell your kids to bugger off for an hour. It's totally allowed to demand that they not bother you unless they are broken, dying, or bleeding for the entirety of the hour. Maybe help them to create their own zone-up spaces, then walk away quietly while they are arranging it. You will more than likely get about an hour all to yourself this way. Just don't crumple any chip or cookie bags. Remember, remove all social media and mainstream news for your own mental health. Do this for at least an hour a day, every day, if you can. Rinse and repeat as often as needed. No, it's not allergies. One of my kids brought home something from when they're out and about, and it just sometimes it hits me harder.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
There we go. That's how you get attention. All right. We do have some news here. A couple of quick articles for you. One first off, we got a nice article from Elegant Themes on how to configure up your WordPress privacy settings. Now, this is something you do want to go in and double check from time to time because they've made a lot of changes to them over the last couple of years. And if you're setting up a new site, you want to double check that all this is. This way you comply with the GDPR or other privacy policies across the globe, wherever they may be. Wherever your clients are, you've got to deal with the Privacy Act of that area. Plus, you know, we got the new one from California, the California Consumer Privacy Act. You know, they keep slapping more and more regulations on it. You know, that's what government does. More regulations, more hands in your pocket. Pretty soon, there's nothing left in there but lint. And they still keep digging. They still keep digging. Check this article out. It does help you out a bit. All right. Well, let's have a little more fun after last week. Wix has been more than successful in this. They even managed to get the Mullenweg to strike back.
I saw that.
He wrote a nice, snippy little article striking back at Wix and what their problems are. No, that man has no, what's the word I'm looking for?
Compunction, empathy, self-control.
Not that. It's something. It's that one when someone strikes back at you. Anyway. He does that. Which is always kind of interesting. This is an interesting write-up that he did. He does have a couple of valid points about Wix. One of the most valid points about Wix, if you know someone on a Wix site, you want to get them off of it. there is no export function to export the data out. You're going to have to manually remove every single page to get them out of there. They are one of the only companies that does that now. Many companies used to do that. And I remember those days of many companies and many systems making it impossible for you to extract data from their website. Once you were in there, they wanted you permanently in there, and Wix does the same thing. So at any rate, the biggest thing here, there's another article I've got here from Wix, a article written by, what was his name here? Casablanca. I don't know what happened to the author's name. Anyway, he wrote a good article about how they started out with this negative campaign, and it's actually working. As I suggested, they're not going after the WordPress developers for their campaign. They just got the WordPress developers to make the most amount of noise and bring lots of attention to them. And it worked very, very well. And it's been very good. These are both interesting articles if you want to see the shenanigans there, and I don't want to give them any more time than I already have. So we'll leave it at that.
We need to pop some popcorn and sit back and just watch this. It's quite an entertaining show.
I always do. Every time I see these things come up, because they do come up about once a year, every year or two, these sorts of things come up. And I basically do sit back and pop popcorn and munch popcorn while watching the shenanigans prevail and everybody toss accusations at one another. It's lots of fun. And each one of them has their points because they're both right about what the others are doing wrong. But neither wants to admit that that's what they're doing wrong. So it's really quite entertaining.
If I understand this particular article correctly, this author is actually pointing out the negative things on both sides of the fence.
Yes, he is. Yes, he does. He does cover both sides of the fence, which is good. It's a nicely balanced article about what each side is doing. So it was a very interesting thing. Okay, and leading that down, since we're in no zone here, here's another article here about how not to monetize a free plugin. It seems One-Click Demo, which is a plugin that I don't think I've ever used, but it was a plugin created before many theme developers created their own demo import function for it. And what it did was allowed you to, with one click, import demo content into a newly built website to help you get along with the building of it. And this is a very popular plugin. It was a free plugin. Well, they sold this plugin out, and to the company that bought this plugin, they decided to monetize it in a way that went from 1 click to 3 clicks. In other words, they added a new page in there. You click install, and it pops up a page. Hey, try all our other plugins. Are you sure you want to continue? So, it's kind of scammy, but hey, it works. And they really didn't do much damage. I saw this and I thought, what'd they do? They did something really evil? No, it's not evil so much as it's just one more click and a bit of a pain in the ass, and you got to look at their ads. That's the price you pay for free. There's no such thing as free. If it's free, you're the product in some way, shape, or form. It's all it works out to be. So go check that one out. Okay, we do have, middle of April, we have a couple of vulnerability reports from iThemes about what's happening. Report number 1, WordPress vulnerabilities and their plugins that are out there, and which plugins have not been patched and which ones you need to look at. Ivory Search has still had a problem back at the beginning of April, and it looks like it's been patched. Virtual Robots Text, Realito, a lot of them been patched, but Business Heroes Pro, if you use Business Heroes Pro, Trip, find my word, tongue, wrap it up, stick it in my back of my head. All right, out it comes again. If you use the Business Heroes Pro plugin, you'll want to disable it until this thing's been patched. So you'll want to look these over to see if there's any plugins that are there that you might have or you might have on your client sites to see if you need to be aware of anything if you've not been getting your updates done. So we've got a couple others, Simple Membership, and this is part 2. So they've got 2 parts out, and we're only halfway through the month, so they might have a 3rd and 4th part out. But I highly suggest you subscribe to this so that you can see what plugins are having problems, whether or not you use them. So really good thing to have. We got
definitely a very useful thing to keep up with.
Oh, absolutely. You want to keep up with this as much as possible. Next one here, we got another nice article here from Cosmo Labs on how to customize your WordPress email login and behavior and registration. So it's basically to customize the login page of your WordPress website. Lots of ways to do it. They've got a different way of doing it, probably using a plugin. I thought it would be a useful thing to showcase out for folks to go take a look at. Another article we've got here from WPMU Dev. QR codes are back in vogue, and more people are using them again. I remember when they were first invented. Yeah, they're becoming popular again, especially since, with the advent now of QR codes being the easiest way to make cryptocurrency payments, because the cryptocurrency address is like 5 miles long. And to try and type that out or cut and paste it is typing it out. See, unless you're really good typist, it's really hard. Cut and paste is the best, but the QR code is even simpler with a scanning of the QR code and boom. It doesn't seem to work very well on a desktop computer, which is where 90% of my work on computers goes. Actually, probably 98%. I really despise using my phone for anything except for I don't even check email on it. I use it to check Twitter. That's really all I use my phone for. At any rate, for those that do use their phone for this sort of thing, it's a great way to do that. So go read this article on the best practices for QR codes, some of the free plugins for QR codes, and get QR codes set up on your website for multiple purposes.
That is pretty nifty. I mean, I've never really been big on QR codes, but I did notice that every new phone comes with like built-in QR code scanner now.
Yep. Yeah, it's all built into them now. Oh, and Hemdian was correcting me. It was supposed to be hours, not heroes. So there's my Dexia coming out to play. I did not see hours. I saw heroes for some reason. And I even looked at it several times. So, I do suffer. I do suffer from Lixdexia. So,
it's funny. I didn't even notice. I heard heroes. Maybe because I was reading heroes or hours, whatever
right
it is.
There. Now when I look at it again,
see now I'm all messed up.
Yeah, I can look at it again and it does say hours. So hey, it's one of those things. But I do suffer from dyslexia. It makes it really hard for me to read and write things. I mean, I get through, but hey, that's how life goes. All right, the final one we've got here for you today is an article from Elegant Themes. What they consider the 9 top plugins for surveys. So if you're looking for a survey plugin, this might be a good place to start. Go check out what they've got listed here and see what plugins that they recommend. And you can go through and check them out and see which ones work for you. So what do we got? We got Forminator Pro, Formidable Forms, Quiz and Survey Master, Poll, Survey, and Quiz by Opinion Stage. That one's kind of new to me. Form Maker. Looks like a lot of form plugins are in that. Typeform. Crowd Signal Form. Yeah, looks like a lot of form plugins have moved into the survey bit. I can understand why. It could be cool. Wonder why Gravity Forms isn't into this. Maybe they're just sticking to what they know. Anyway.
Maybe.
It could be. At any rate, that's all we've got for the news for you this week. So make sure you go check it out and see what is offered up in the news section. All right, this is where we like to ask you
to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
Absolutely. We want you to donate to the show, and that donation can be anything: time, talent, or treasure. This show is here for you guys. We don't need to do this for ourselves. We don't even need to record this stuff for ourselves. We do it for you to showcase and show you what is out there in the world. Yes, we're a little different than everyone else. Yes, we managed to piss off a few people because they don't know how to toe the party line. I'm good with that. I really enjoy the hate mail, though. I haven't had any in a very long time. The hate mail is so much fun. It's really enjoyable. For a long time, I got lots of hate mail, but I haven't seen any in a long time. So if you want to send me hate mail, send it to me, man. Email address is in the show notes. I love hate mail. I also love when people say, hey, you're doing a great job. That one works too. But Back to the donations, this show, value for value, meaning if you get any value out of it, does it save you 5 minutes? Does it give you a plugin that you didn't know about? Do you find out about a piece of news that you weren't aware of? Something of value, not just the silly shit about Wix. That's just for fun and entertainment. But if you're getting value from the show, give some value back. Now, that value can be in the form of time, helping out the show, doing some of the things we need done. We have things needed on the website. We have, tell people about the show. Talent, talent. If you're talented in artwork, we need artwork. We always need artwork. We change the art every single episode. I put up a new piece of art. For at least the last 2 years, I have not had to create the art because artists out there have stepped up and started supplying it. We're starting to run out of that art though, P. The artists haven't given us any in a while, so we need some new artists. Send out some artists. And then, of course, treasure meaning money. Donate money to the show. We have a segment in here where we give you an executive producer credit for anything $50 or more over the show, and you get a note read out on the show. All right. Also, if you come in below that, and we do have some people out there that have some regular small subscriptions to the show, they're greatly appreciated. The money never makes it to our pocket. It just helps offset the costs of running the show because it actually costs money to do this, folks, believe it or not. We got to pay for the server space, got to pay for the time, got to take time out of earning hours. Instead of doing actual work to earn money, we're doing a show. Show takes hours to do, believe it or not. So if you can support us in any way, you can donate to the show. Just go to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and fill out the form and put in any amount you want from $5 up to $1 million if you have it. Yes, I'll take $1 million cash. So PayPal might freak out if someone tried to donate $1 million. They'd probably lose their mind. But we'll take the money and we'll make sure you get the credit you deserve for it. The other thing I like to do is, at this point here, we like to acknowledge the artists that have come in this week and submitted the artwork. Today's artwork comes to us from Danielle Pays of daniellepays.com, and today's piece of artwork is the galaxy. There we go. Nice galactic art, into the abyss. That's where we're headed. It's kind of a good metaphor for the whole universe or whole world at the moment. Off into the abyss we dive, but it's a really great piece of artwork. I really do enjoy it. He's done some tweaking to it to sort of enhance it a bit. Thanks a lot, Danielle. Greatly appreciate your art. After that, we like to recognize executive producers when they show up, but we don't have any this week. After that, we like to recognize all you small producers out there, and thank you. You all are anonymous. You know who you are. And a big thank you to those who have hired us because of the show. They either hired us to do work on their sites or they've hired us to run the hosting for their website, put their websites on the johnoverall.com hosting service. So thank you very much. That is as good as supporting the show. And that money does go into our pockets to fill our bellies. So thank you very much. And of course, the one final thing, still pimping out my daughter here. If you're interested, a $500 donation, you can get her pretty little mug up on the live stream. And with all of that being said, it is time we head off into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Hang on.
What?
Hang on. Before you do that,
Oh.
Hempy wants to know, what if they say that you're doing great, that they hate that you're doing a great job? Does that count?
Yep, that works too.
Oh, no. Does that count double? I didn't even see the word double.
Sure, it'll count double. Yeah, it counts double.
All right.
All right, well, let's dive into the depravity of plugins, the deep depths of plugin depravity. Off we go, what most people come here to the show to even listen to. All right, ClassicPress options. I actually do have a couple of ClassicPress options. It seems ClassicPress has woken up again, and they have a big post in their forum. And this post is talking about the things that have been happening in ClassicPress for the last 6 months. They've got some updates in here, some updates to the plugin. A new version is about to be released of ClassicPress, some plugin stuff. It seems they've also got a forum now for ClassicPress plugins, listing up all the plugins that are available in here. And I caught a little snippet in here. I didn't manage to get an address for it, but their plugin directory is on course to be released, and that will make a lot of difference to this to this system once their plugin directory is released. It might even make it easier to get more ClassicPress information in here. So that's what we've got in here for ClassicPress this week. They are alive and well, and they're moving forward again, and I'm sure we'll start hearing information from them coming soon. So stay tuned for more ClassicPress stuff coming up soon. Outside of that, we've got the regular resources listed in the show notes. Let's move it along to WordPress plugins. Podcaster down. Podcaster down.
Yeah. So your alter ego is saying that the corner of the image says Greg's Graphics.
Didn't I say that?
No,
I did. I said Daniel
Bays.
Bays. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I changed it when I published it, or when I put it in here. I forgot to change it in the actual show notes. It is Greg. It is Greg's Graphics. My bad. I'm sorry about that, Greg. Yeah. Hopefully you listen this far. You don't get so pissed off at me. Oh, I don't give credit. I give credit where credit is due, and sometimes I make a mistake. I am human after all. At least that's what I keep being told. So it is Greg's Graphics. Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
You deserve a beating.
Yes, I do. That's all right. Nobody big enough to give me one, though. All right, let's move it along. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to change that in the show notes. In the show notes that I'm reading from, not the show notes. On the website, it will have the correct name. All right. Let's finish diving into the WordPress plugins. And the first one I've got this week for you is a review of Contest Gallery. And this, of course, is because I originally reviewed this plugin back in episode 499, and I've been using it for a while since then. And I realized that it was well worth the money, and I decided to go ahead and upgrade to the premium version, the pro version. And since I've upgraded, I think I did that upgrade last week, and so I've been checking it out. It's working really well. It's enhanced things. It's what allowed me to correct giving out the wrong name today, because my alter ego noticed in the thing where it said Greg's Graphics instead. So now the artwork shows the author's name, the creator's name with it, because you actually got to get the premium version for that to display, which is really silly. Plus a whole lot of other little things in it that I'm still tweaking with, but I do enjoy it. Fantastic plugin. The pro version is worth the money if you're going to run this and bump up to it. So I had to come back, re-review it, and then raise its rating from the 4 I gave it all the way back up to a 5 Dragon rating.
Hamden has a pretty good question for us. Has anyone ported and updated the Gutenberg plugin to ClassicPress?
No, everyone went to ClassicPress to avoid Gutenberg completely. No, Gutenberg is hated over in ClassicPress area. It's the reason I tried to go to ClassicPress, was to avoid Gutenberg entirely. You know, I really despise the way Gutenberg works. I really do. It's like I will adapt to it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like it anymore. It's like eating. It's like eating peas. You know, I still kind of hate them, but I do eat them because I know they're good for me. So what can I say? You know, it's one of those things.
Well, the first plugin I have is Disable Flock, or FLOC.
Yeah.
This is an easy-to-use privacy edition plugin.
Go flock yourself.
By installing and activating it, it automatically adds an HTTP header to your WordPress website that disables Google's federated learning of cohorts tracking. You'll find the header added permissions-policy interest-cohort equals
blank,
and the parentheses. Yeah. If an existing interest cohort value is found, the plugin will not change that value or add an additional one, which is good. And this plugins page also sets down 5 links that will tell you all about what Flock is, or FLOC. So if you're interested in learning on what that is or reading up on it, go and check out the page of this plugin. I didn't want to put them here because it's what they have for you.
Yes, well, this Go Flock Yourself plugin, disabling flock, it's like, what is the flock? You know, do I care? Do I give a flock what the flock is? You know,
it's a type of tracking thing that happens with a bunch of different search engines and whatnot.
Yeah.
So this disables their ability to actually like track you when you go there and track your page, from what I understand.
Yeah, well, I actually didn't know what the flock was, so I had to go look up what the flock it is. And it turns out the flock is a Google specific type of tracking. It tracks you across browsers and tracks your visitors across browsers. So what happens is you help protect the privacy of your visitors to your website by blocking this kind of tracking on your website. It's really a bizarre thing, and as I went down the flocking hole, it was really quite insane. So I was like, okay, I'm done. That's all I really need to know. So if you start looking into it, you'll find that the flocking hole is very deep. Yeah,
you're having way too much fun with this.
It's a given, man. It's like, how can you not take that and just run with it and play? Originally called Flock
Off.
Yeah, there we go. Get the flock off my site. Yeah, there you go. All right, so enough of that. Let's move it along to...
I still haven't given it a rating. I rated this at 5 dragons.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, good thing you said that. I forgot entirely. All right, let's move it along to... my next plugin I've got here for you is Better Usage Statistics for Elementor. Now, this one here wasn't exactly what I'd hoped it to be. I thought it was going to give me more information than it does, but it does give you a lot of information. If you're using Elementor, you'll know you've got all kinds of elements all over multiple pages and posts and everywhere else, and some things are used in some places and some aren't used in another. And I was hoping it would also tell me which elements weren't being used at all across the site. And it doesn't give you that piece of information. It only tells you about the elements that are being used. So if you don't remember which elements you have, it's like if you use Elementor, you start plugging in additional plugins that toss you more elements, and you can lose track of them pretty quick. You know, it's like you might install a plugin, you'll think you're going to use an element, and then you'll find a better element and you won't use it, but did you use an element from that plugin? And if you turn that plugin off, will you break your site? So it would have been useful to have that. But the one good thing it does tell you is what elements are used on what pages or posts on your site and how many of those elements are used. And then it gives you an overall count of all the elements and that are being used across your site. So you can get an idea of how much resources you're using. Very useful in all of that aspect. You know, I'd hoped it had a little more info, but because it doesn't quite have the full amount of info I was looking for, we're going to have to knock this one down to a 4 dragon rating. Check it out. Better Use Statistics for Elementor.
And the next one I have has a nice long name for us. Floating chat widget, contact icons, messages, Telegram, email, SMS, call button, chatty.
Wow. That's a big mouthful.
It is a very interesting plugin for a pop-up chat window. Most of the pop-up chat windows that you can get, it'll just be a little bubble that shows up and you can chat either with an automated chat or it'll connect you to someone who you can chat with and get help. This one doesn't limit you to the one chat option. It actually gives you a whole bunch of options. Things like WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, Telegram, what's that really fancy one that the kids like? TikTok, that one too. You can also use TikTok as an interaction thing. Like it has quite a few options. And when you first sign up, like when you plug it in and you activate it, it'll bring up the settings page. At first it wants you to sign up for something, but I love this. They give you the option to skip that.
Oh, nice.
A lot of these plugins don't do that, but they do. They don't force you to sign up with them. They let you skip right past it. It's great. And they give you the whole list of things that you can sign up for. They don't give you the darkened options that you can only get if you go pro. They only give the options that you can get with the free version, which I found really cool.
Nice.
I like the way that they present. I like the way the options that they offer. It works really well. And even if you're just testing it out like I did, you can just leave the settings as is with their fake email and everything. And you go to save it and says, "Are you sure you want to save this? It won't work like this." You say yes, and it doesn't care. It just saves it for you. So you can use it for testing. You can use it for real. It's a really fantastic plugin. I really like it. Unfortunately, it does have a pro version, so I knocked it down to 4 dragon.
All right. Well, sounds like one to go check out. I'm not going to try to fill my mouth full of all those words, though.
Floating chat widget, contact icons, messages, Telegram, email, SMS, call button, chatty.
Yeah.
Although you can just search up CHATY, chatty. You can search that up and it does come up, which is pretty cool.
No, that's its URL at WordPress. It's just chatty. That should have been just what they called it. Was hey, this chatty, and then went into their explanations. But yeah, sounds like a cool one. All right, the final one I've got for you here is an internal linking of related contents on your website. Now, internal linking is something you should do on every post, link to other posts within your website. It can be a bit of a pain. You can forget while you're creating posts. This plugin here helps automate that process. Now, this is a free version of their premium version plugin, and I was a little disappointed in their free version and how much limitations it had in it. It has once you install and activate it, it's fully automatic. You can't put it into specific spots. The short code's only available with the premium version, and also what it does, as my brain misfires. Tick 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 tick. All right. What it also does, it does give you the information or the ability to control the colors and layout. And what I discovered with it is that it puts the internal linking. It links one article based upon terms in your terms and words and categories, and it puts that link at the very top of your post. Now you can control the color and layout with 3 different templates that they give you for it, and that's really all you can do with it. There's not much more than that. I did see there was quite a few other plugins, and because I'm trying to do this more and more at the Rogues Tavern site, I think I'll check out a few more plugins to see which one comes out better and see which one is more worthwhile. When I did look at their pro version and what it offered, I didn't see that it offered so much more advantage over the free version as far as it is. Maybe because it's a young plugin, it hasn't grown yet. I mean, it is relatively new. It gets time. I may come back and revisit this another time if I see it again and it seems to have improved. But at the moment, all I can do is give it a base level 3 dragon rating plugin. It does work well, but it's not super special or super bad in any way. So go check it out if you want an easy internal linking plugin. It's internal linking of related contents, and it gets a 3 dragon rating.
All right. So the next one that I have is plugin notes label. I love this plugin. It is awesome. It's one of the newer plugins, so it doesn't have as many downloads as it could, but I don't know about people out there, but I personally am constantly forgetting what exactly every plugin is used for, because their names don't always explain what the plugin is used for. Mm-hmm. Or like when you're working on a site with someone else and say that the someone else has changed up the plugin somehow, then they could actually put a note in on the plugin with this and say, I changed it up this way, it does this as well as this now. Very useful. You plug it in and immediately a little space under each and every plugin has a note space that you can add whatever note you need or want. If you click on that picture, in the plugin page, if you click on that picture, it shows you exactly how it shows up. It's very cool, very useful. I love this thing. It's totally free. I have a feeling that it's not going to stay free, though, because of how useful I can see this becoming. It may end up getting turned into a pay-for-it thing, so I would suggest that people get on this while it's still free. I rate this at 5 dragons.
No, most likely it'll stay free because this is not the first notes plugin for putting notes on your plugins.
Oh, no? I've never seen it before.
Well, no, this is a different version of what I've been using off and on for years. When you build out a client site and you put a fair number of plugins in there, it's always good to make notes of what that plugin is there for, because you might come back to that site 2 years later and go, why did I put all these plugins in here? What do they do? And you have to try and figure out what they did. And you can put notes in there that are very helpful. I've done this with a couple of my clients in the past, and it has helped me when I go back in to work on the site at a later date. So yeah, and there's lots of free ones. They've been around for several years now, so I doubt they would go to a premium version unless they add some functionality that is more than just adding a note.
Oh, well, then I stand corrected.
Yeah.
It just seemed like such a useful thing that it would make sense to try to
Yeah, well,
get money from
it would make sense to try and make money from it, but if you looked up plugins for putting a note, you will find that there's dozens of them.
Okay.
And so there's quite a few of them to choose from.
I just tripped across this when I was searching for something else, and this popped up. So
Yeah, that's what happens. You search for something else, and you always find interesting plugins. Do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's all the plugins we got, and this show is still brought to you by... Are you tired of the same old web hosting? Not having the resources you need to run your website properly? Having a lack of control? Then you need johnoverall.com web hosting, providing you with all the resources you need to smoothly run your WordPress website or ClassicPress website. With strict limits on the number of clients allowed per server, johnoverall.com provides high-quality, fast server performance. Visit johnoverall.com for web hosting that won't slow you down. Absolutely. High-quality web hosting. Was that me or was that somebody else? Did you hear a evil laugh right there in the middle of that track?
No, I did not.
Oh, then it must be just me. Maybe it was my computer laughing at me. All right. I heard something there. It sounded like an evil laugh right in the middle of that track for some reason. All right. Well, this is the point where we like to give our listener feedback. But as I said, we don't have any right now. We haven't had any for a while. Or listener questions. Hey, listener questions would be great too. We don't have any of those. Let's ask folks out there. Send us some feedback. Send us some questions. We also like to head into this little segment of the show.
It's a contest, WordPress plugins from A to Z. Whoa, stop for free! Yeah!
Absolutely, some contests. Well, we have finally set a date to reactivate the contest. It's going to happen the first show in June. We're going to continue on right now, giving Charlie a break. Thank you very much, Charlie, for everything you've done. And it looks like he's going to get started again and help us out. So it'd be really great. Thank you very much, Charlie. If you're still listening to the show, well, I know you're listening to the show, but when you listen to this show, thank you, Charlie. Also, a big thank you to Steve Goodtime and Brant Matthews for that jingle. I really do enjoy it. And we'll just keep plugging the contest segment of the show, but contests are coming back where we're going to be giving away free licenses for everyone once again. All right, so we got to close out a couple of things before we head into the Q&A segment, because partway through the Q&A segment, we shut her down for the podcast and continue on for the YouTubers. All right, plugins I covered up in this episode was better usage statistics for Elementor, which I rated with a 4 dragons. Internal linking of related contents, which I rated for 3 dragons. And Contest Gallery photo contest plugin for WordPress Contest Gallery Pro, which I rated for 5 dragons.
And I covered Disable Flock or Flock Off, which I rated at 5. Floating chat widget, contact icons, messages, Telegram, email, SMS, call button, chatty, which I rated at 4. And plugin notes label, which I rated at 5.
Very nice. Very nice. The 2 plugins together, go Flock Off and SMS. All right, let's move it along. External events, we don't have any planned at the moment, but they will be coming down the pike. Don't forget, if you don't get enough of Amber and I, you can check us out on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. at the Rogues Tavern. And we go live on our YouTube channel for that. Completely different show than this, but not too much, I think, sometimes. All right, and if you'd like to be interviewed on WP Plugins A to Z, reach out to us at wppluginsaToZ.com/interview. All right, this is where we move into...
It's question and answer time.
With Amber. All right.
So just first off, if anyone has any questions that they'd like to have asked, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca. I will get them into this segment. I'll read them out, get you your answers. And that would be awesome if someone would send in some questions. That'd be pretty cool. Thinking up all the questions on my own is kind of getting a little, hard. Running out of questions.
Well, you've only been doing it now for about 35 episodes.
So my first question is, how does general security for servers work?
All right. Well, now we're going to dive into something that that's not normally discussed on this show, but we may as well dive into it because, as everyone knows, I have a hosting business. I have 5 servers. I just brought another server online for a special client who wants a complete server to themselves, and I'm in the process of configuring and securing that server down. And general security works in the way of, securing up the ports on the site, blocking certain ports, opening certain ports that you need, setting up a firewall for the site, setting up an antivirus for the site, testing it and making sure the speed is still there for the stuff that is public for everyone to access, which is the websites themselves, but you don't want them to access the other components of the server. It's a hell of a lot of work. Just in the first 24 hours the server was online, it had over 800 attempts from various sources, most of them from China and where was the other country? Can't remember. I think it was about 30% of the attempted hacks came from China. But general security works in trying to keep all the evil people out of your website or out of your server, which in turn protects the website. So it's without going into details about what it does, because everybody has their own ways of configuring and securing their servers. And I won't go into details about how mine's done. It's just done. And it's done to the best ability that we can get it done between me and the guys I hire to help me deal with this stuff.
So is that like every server out there, they generally just have firewalls and ports that they have to close off?
Yep. Firewalls and ports. As a general rule, it's firewalls to prevent unwanted traffic, and certain ports are left open while other ports. On your server, there is, was there 10,000 ports or more? I can't remember the number of ports that are available. But
when you say ports, what I'm thinking is things like the portholes on a ship kind of deal, and you have to lock them down. Yeah,
that's basically a good analogy to it, because a port is a hole. It's like it's the access port into the server, and there's tens of thousands of access ports into a server. And there's many, and some of those ports are for very specific services of the server. And some of them are like for your website. When you go to a website, you're actually going to port 80. When you go to a website and a server, that's port 80 on the server. And then port 8080, which is the HTTPS, I think. I can't remember. I know this stuff, but port 80 is the one that sticks in mind. But you go to the one port, and that's how it works. But locking them down takes a lot of stuff. It takes a lot of time to get them all fully locked down before they're ready to go, and then configuring the software and everything else that goes into the server. So general security is what you need. And what we'll do is, since you've only got 3 questions instead of 4, read out the other 2, and then we'll move out to closing the show and let people come to the YouTuber for the rest of it.
All right. Next question is, do you have to go out and buy security for your servers? And the third question is, how do you go about setting up security for your home-based server yourself?
Okay, those are going to be quite an interesting time. So those of you on the podcast, you got to go over to YouTube and watch the rest of this. So I'm going to let my girl take us out of here, and I'm going to enjoy my shot of liquid butterscotch.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WP Plugins A to Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty, well, let's roll it out. Okay, last couple of questions. These kind of sort of roll together.
They do.
Do you have to go out and buy security for your servers? And how do you go about setting up security for your home-based server? Well, I'll take the
What I should have added on that third one is it any different from setting up your security for a server that you pay for elsewhere versus using your own home as a server?
Yeah, okay. Well, home-based servers, you generally don't do those. Your internet provider for your home tends to frown on home-based servers. They get really upset with them. Not so much these days as they used to. They used to get really pissed with me because I ran a home-based server for a while, and they used to get pissed because of all the bandwidth I'd suck up. It sucks up a lot. Servers suck up a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah.
So do you have to go out and buy security for your servers? Yes and no. There's a lot of free stuff out there, open source software, but you get the open... What the hell are you doing?
Me?
Yeah. What the hell was that?
I moved.
Oh, it sounded like you went...
Weird.
Drug yourself across your microphone.
I did not mean to do that. I was reaching for something. I guess I accidentally rubbed my microphone. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, don't apologize. Just explain. Never apologize. Explanations are okay, but there's no point in apologizing. Nobody accepts apologizes anyway.
I was reaching for one of my royal ginseng things.
Oh, okay. All right. You don't always have to buy the security software. You know, there are paid security software out there. Some of it's better than others, but some of it's not nearly even as good as the open source software. Most of the software that goes onto my servers is open source software. So it's free. It's available. The biggest problem is, there's no true thing is free. It's free software, but it's time. It's like WordPress is free, as in the software is free, but it's not free as in the time involved in setting it up. So you give up one for the other. Likes, nobody move. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, me rubbing the mic and you rubbing the mic. My mic's a long way from me, though. It's at least 6 inches from my face.
Yeah, I don't have that option. My mic is attached to my headphones.
Yeah, that would be it. All right, but yeah, you don't have to go out and buy security for your servers. No, you can get the free software, the open source software, and then configure it up. And it is really good. I use a lot of open source software on my servers. I do pay for some things on there, like cPanel. I pay a licensing fee for cPanel. I pay a licensing fee for a couple of other pieces of software I put on the server. How do you go about setting up security for your home-based server? It would be exactly the same as setting up security for a server in a data center. It's no different. The difference between a server in your home and a server in your data center is that the server in your home is right there. You can push the button to turn it on and off. The server in a data center, if you want to turn it on and off, they get a robot to come over and do it for you, or they send a human over to do it if the robot's busy. It's like, but they now do a lot of things through software. Everything's done with software now. But there are data centers that if you have something to be done in your server, and the thing about a data center servers is it's not like a computer you see sitting on your floor. They're little blades is all they are. And they take up a space of about 3 inches high by about 8 inches wide, and they slide into a slot in a wall, and they stack them tens and dozens of them tall in a control panel. It's like you have to see some of the pictures of data centers to know what I'm talking about. And how
Or, watch any kind of geek-like movie.
Yeah, watch any kind of geek-like movie and you see the data servers in there. And that's basically what data servers are. And they're no different than your computer. The difference is the case they're held in is all that's different. And the difference between a server and your desktop computer is the software that's running on it is all it is. Even Windows, though, has abilities to serve up web pages from your computer. So there's lots of it can be, but configuring it up or setting up a server for your security for your home-based server, pretty much the same as a server you might get in a data center. And again, you got to set it up, block ports, open certain ports, provide security. If it's in your home network, you want to make sure that it's separate and apart from all your other computers in your home internal network. You have it on its own external connection to the internet. There's a lot of challenges in it. And I've done that sort of thing off and on over the years. And I haven't had a home-based server. Well, I guess it's been since 2009. I had a home-based server. Actually, it was a store-based server. I had a server in my computer store that served all the computers in the store and then also served all my employees. And I ran Windows NT on it with Microsoft Exchange, which I'll never, ever, ever do that again, ever. You couldn't.
What is Microsoft Exchange?
Exactly. That's a good question. That should always be the question. What is Microsoft Exchange? You should always ask, what is it? I don't know. It's unimportant. It's only those who are sadomasochistic even work on that stuff anymore. Because you really have to want to beat yourself up on a regular basis just to work on Windows NT and Microsoft Exchange. Or even the latest Windows, I think it is Windows Server 2000 or 2020 or something. I'm not sure what version they're on now. Windows servers. Like I tried to set up a Windows server about 3 or 4 years ago. And I leased the server in a data center, installed the Windows on it, and then started to configure it. And it's like, oh God, now I remember why I left Windows servers for Linux servers, because the nightmare of setting them up was just way too much. All right, yes, Microsoft Exchange. Well, the worst part about Exchange was when I took everyone off it was to extract all of their emails out of the Exchange format and get it back into an Outlook format. That was a challenge. It was really quite a challenge. So yeah. So at any rate, that's pretty much all the questions we got for you. I think we'll wrap it at that for this week. And tax day in the States has been extended to May 17th. Oh, lucky them. It's no longer tax day in the States. Oh, I was off. It sure took you long enough to respond to that. I said that way back at the beginning of the show. Come on, me. What's wrong with me? I should have had that information much sooner from myself. All right, with that being said, let's have some music to carry us on here. It is definitely Days of Thunder time.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, folks. That's all we got for you now. Thanks for showing up. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Adios, mofo.